Hello all of my elite creators and welcome back to my channel if you are a subscriber. If you are new here and this is your first time seeing any of my videos, I do hope that you enjoy the content and will choose to hit the subscribe button as well as the notification bell so that you are notified whenever I release new content. In this video, I'm going to show you how to assemble custom printable chip bags or treat bags. So you don't necessarily have to put chips in them, but you can. And I'm going to show you two different ways of doing it. If you just put chips in it, and also with one of them, I have a little circle here that I'm going to hand cut out. If you wanted to cut it out with like your Cameo, definitely can't do this with Cricut Design Space. But if you wanted to cut it out with your Cameo, you would have to print to 8.5 by 14 paper or 11 by 17. That way the registration marks would not interfere with the actual print. But for this one, I'm going to hand cut it. So I did print two. This is 11 by 17 paper that I am using. This one is called Navigator Platinum. It's a really, really good paper. I like it. It is a matte paper. It's not glossy, but with using pigment ink, you do get good color payoff. I use an Epson 7720 to print all of my cardstock and print and cut type designs. The Epson 7720 is a pigment ink printer. That ink that comes with it, Durabright, is pigment ink, but it can be very expensive with refills, especially when you're printing something like this. It's very ink heavy. So I do use refillable ink or a refillable ink system. I use the cartridges. I get mine from Cosmos Ink. They sell Sublimation ink and pigment ink. If you want to be able to have both systems, you do need to have two different printers. You can't go back and forth between Sublimation ink and pigment ink without a lot of cleaning. It's a lot of hassle. So you just want to have two separate printers. But this is pigment ink. This is technically waterproof. So if it gets wet, I mean, the paper will absorb the water, but the colors will not run. So we're going to get right into this. The first I'm going to do is just the simple one. I'm going to do just a regular chip bag and just show you how you would close that up. Let me grab my cutter so that I can cut this. Uh-oh. Why are you not coming out? There we go. I have quite a few cutters. I probably should have grabbed a smaller one. With the small space that I'm working in. But I'm just going to cut this down and cut it in half. I'm only going to do one of these, and then I'm going to show you how to do the one with the window. Might as well cut this one now too. And I'm going to need this again to trim the ends off. I might as well go ahead and trim the ends. So I'm just going to trim. I'm going to flip this real quick for you guys so that you can see. All right, so I'm going to just trim this edge here and my bottom edge. Because of the way that I printed it, where I did them back to back, my top edge does not have a white border on it. So it also gives me a little bit more room. If I would have did it the other way, you know, I would have had to kind of trim both sides so they can match. So I'm going to trim this side in here. I don't worry about the other side because that's where I'm going to put my glue or adhesive. You can use double-sided adhesive or you can use a glue gun. I'm going to show you both, and I just cut a little bit too much off on that side, but that's okay. I am not in my regular chair for my work area. I'm in the computer chair instead of my high boy. So I'm kind of low and not really sitting over it, and didn't quite see that I was off on that one, but it's fine. Now, if you don't, when it comes to that white part, you really don't have to cut it. The one on the side, if you don't want, because when you glue it, it can have that white line. I mean, you know, there is technically a white spot on most chip bags. So you don't really have to cut that white part off. if you don't want to. Like that may give you a little, it'll give you just a little bit more space for your bags and things like that. So this is all cut out. There's nothing here. I would normally not leave this blank. I actually cut this one out when I did the regular one. It's the same thing as this one. I just made the circle on here darker so that you can see it, and it made it a little bit easier for me to see when I cut it out. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and put this off to the side. And let's do the very, very easy one first. Okay, couple things that you can do when it comes to putting this together. You can use either a tape runner, which my son broke my other one, but I normally use the one that goes with this. It's the Craft Bonder tape runner. And this is just the refills, just to show you what it's, you know, I get the permanent refills. I can use this. I can also use my score tape. I have this one. I have a white one, which, where did it go? And I also have one that's red. Okay, here's my red one, because I have it where it is thin and a thicker one. They're on Amazon. So I can use either one of these. If I'm doing something that's thin, I would use this one, and this one are about the same size. So I can use either of those. And then there's one that's in the craft stores and it's white, but I thought I had it up here. Guess I don't. If you're going to use a glue gun, I highly recommend using a glue gun that is at least 80 watts or higher. So I have my 80 watt one here, and I also have my 300 watt one here. The higher the wattage, the better the glue melts, and it also matters what kind of glue you use. So for me, I use Sure Bonder. Although now they come, I just got a new shipment in. They come just in a regular box like this and just have the like the label on this side. Before, they used to come in a box like this, and this is on my link. There's a link for it on my Amazon store under my recommendation list, so you can check that out. I'll make sure that the link for this one is in the description box if you want to get these glue sticks. They are amazing. I love them. Okay, so this one I'm going to use glue. So just to show you the easy way. All right, I'm going to hold it like this. I don't like this glue gun because of the way that this kickstand is, but it's the one that's closest to me, so I'm going to use it. All right, I'm just going to run a bead of glue, and I don't like this one. I should have just used the 300 watt one. This isn't my favorite glue gun. And see, because now I gotta do this. Alrighty, so we're going to just fold this over, line it up, and push it down. I don't crease mine. So what I do is I'll roll it to kind of get it where it's centered, but I don't make that crease in my chip bags. I like for them to kind of just have that natural roll to it. So I go here, but I will pinch right here at the bottom just to kind of make sure, but I don't do the middle. So the middle and the top. All right, so that's like that. And then I'm going to do the inside of the bag as well. I'm going to switch these glue guns out so that I can use the big boy. And let me adjust this just a little. All right, so we're going to put a bead of hot glue on the inside. Now, how I close mine is I kind of tilt it forward, if you guys can see that, to line the edges up, push them together, and then push down. That's that side. Then if I'm going to put the chips, I'll stuff them in there at this point. So we're just going to go ahead and push those chips in. Just like that. Kind of get the top out of the way. Okay. I like to kind of create that crease just to make sure that when I fold it down, it kind of closes in the area that I want. So without any glue in it, I'm going to push it down and kind of train it where to go. And I just realized I did the wrong one. I did the one that I wanted for the window on this one because this one's easy to see to cut for the window. I was supposed to do this one with the chip bag, but that's fine because I have the other one. So I'm going to kind of train it where I want it to go. And then I'm going to glue the other side. And then again, just kind of roll it forward, press down the leading edge, and go across. And we're all done. Nice and sealed. It doesn't come loose. But it also depends on the type of glue that you are using. I like to kind of create that little dimple in mine. I purposely kind of put that in there. I just like the way that that looks. Then I would crimp it. I'm going to go and get my crimper because I left it in the other room. Okay, so to crimp this, this is one, I had the Fiskars one, I let someone borrow it, I don't know who it was. I ended up having to order another one. The Fiskars one wasn't available. I ended up getting this one. It was on Amazon as well, which there is a link for it on my Amazon store. I don't even open this up because on here it tells you can open it up for the paper to go through. I normally don't worry about opening it up. We're just going to put this right here and let it catch on any of the grooves, and then I'll just start to turn it. It'll catch it and it'll go through. But I'm going to try and hold this up so you guys can see as well as roll it in. So just like that, and then roll back. There we go. There's that crimp. I know a lot of people say that they can't get the crimp when they use a glue gun. It may be the type of glue you're using. This one does flatten out pretty good. So just want to get it started so I can lift it up and then just go down and go back up. There we go. And this is all done with chips on the inside. And I'm going to have to grab the other one, because this is going to be very difficult to see because it's the one that's white. I made it white just in case I was a little bit off. You wouldn't see, but for video purposes, that's going to be a little bit difficult. So allow me to grab my other print. And let's cut this one. I'm going to have to cut the other one anyway because there were two different ways that I was going to do this. I'm not going to bother to cut the other edge just to kind of have that little bit of white. Now, to cut this out, you can use either an X-Acto knife or just a straight blade. One of my favorite things to use when it comes to cutting is the Dollar Tree snap blades. So that's these. Okay, they're really good for cutting. I like to use those. So you can use that, or you can use an X-Acto knife. You have a little bit more control because the tip is smaller with the X-Acto knife. So you can use that. And as you can see, I use a lot of blades. This is also on my Amazon store if you want to purchase blades. So the key to cutting this, and like this is the trick that probably most videos won't really talk about, but the key to cutting something like this by hand, or really anything by hand, is not trying to do it on a hard surface. So what I'm going to put under here is a scrap piece of foam board. I normally keep Elmer's, but if you have like the Dollar Tree one, it will work. Any foam board will work. I'm going to use this one. I'm also going to stand up because it's a little bit harder to do this in the chair that I'm in. I'm going to bring this down so that you guys can see it a little bit better. All right, just have to be very careful and you're just going to follow it. The other kind of tip is to rotate your paper as you're cutting it. So I'm going to start here. And for curves, I like to rotate, like I said, rotate my paper as I cut it, just so that I'm not kind of forcing my wrist to go the other way. I'm kind of going straight. So I like to just rotate the paper. And there's that one side. Then I'm going to do the bottom. And I'm not sure if this angle is going to be good for you guys, or I should adjust it to the other camera. I mean, this is very complex in how I did this. I wouldn't do something like this if I had, let's say, like 20 some odd chip bags to do. Although, nope, I'm telling a bit fib, because for my niece's party, I did do 20 of these. I probably wouldn't do big orders, but I did this while I was watching television. So it didn't really bother me any. The time kind of went by really quickly. I pulled my table in front of me, and I did it while I was watching TV. And they were done in no time. I went a little too high on that one, but I cut into the white area, so it's fine. As long as none of the gray is showing, I'm okay. So that's that. Now I'm going to use a honey bun to kind of fill this space in. You can use sheet protectors. So if you're going to put like maybe just candy or something that's not going to actually fill the hole, you can pre-measure your hole to make sure whatever you're going to put in there does fit in that window and it's not too big, like the hole isn't too big. Or you can fill it with sheet protectors. These are a little bit dusty. These are not for someone, so I'm going to use one of these. But of course, I like to use ones that are still in the pack. That way they don't have dust on them or anything like that. You would measure a hole to know exactly how big to cut it. For this one, I'm going to make it a 4.5 by 4.5 square. Let's go ahead and lift that back up. I'm going to cut off this edge on this side. That way I'll just account for cutting the open end of this. Well, the closed end of this, should I say. And just make it an open end. Cut? Yeah. All right. And then I'm going to take this to 4.5. Cut off this side. And then make this 4.5. And then from this, you would end up, like from this one sheet, if you do them at 4.5, you'll have 2, 4, and then this will give you, the other one will give you 6, 8. So from each sheet protector, you'll get 8 windows. To put this on here, you're going to use your double-sided tape. So whether you are using the craft bond from Elmer's or you're using your double-sided tape, you would just put your double-sided tape on it, put it down on your window, and then you would assemble. But I'm going to use my honey bun to fill this in, so I'm not going to worry about adhering this to the actual bag or paper. Move this off to the side. Okay, I'm going to show you how to use this with double-sided tape, just in case you're going to send this to a client and they're going to put it all together themselves. So where I would put the tape, I'm going to put it along my tape line. And then on the inside, I'm going to put it right in the middle, going over the edges just a little bit, but not too much. So pretty much just in the middle, on the bottom and on the top. That's a brand new knife, so I don't want to keep using that. I'm going to use an older Dollar Tree one. Adhesive will dull your blades. All right, so if I was sending this to a client, like I say, I was just putting it together, they were going to stuff it, because it does add to the price when you have to purchase the chip bags and like the original chips and also seal them. It's more work for you versus just putting the adhesive on there. So if I was doing this and sending it to a client where they're going to assemble it, this is how it would be sent to them. So now I'm the client. I'm going to go ahead and put this together. First things first, peel off the one here, and we're going to put it together the same way that we did the hot glue gun. We're just going to kind of push down towards the center so that I can make sure that I'm lining up my ends and on that tape line, which I'm not right there. I'm going to kind of use my finger to put down this edge, then do this side and push them together. All right. Like I said, I like to kind of fluff it back out. I roll it a little bit just to make sure that my front is to the front. Okay. We're going to then do the inside. So we're going to just pull that out. And again, roll it down towards you so that the ends connect, and that just makes for less, areas that you have to trim away because you're not doing it standing up. You make sure that it actually comes all the way down. So to fill this, I had some different candy and things when I did this for my niece, but I'm going to improvise. We had some of it left over. If you are going to do a window, because you're sealing this part down, make sure that your window is up high enough to where your treats actually has somewhere to sit, because you don't want it to be too low to where this pocket is almost sealed and the treats have nowhere to sit. So we're going to put that down in there like that and just push it up onto the window. Then, so that this stays in place, I'm going to take other treats and stuff it behind it. So I'm going to take this, what is this? Fruit snack, and kind of put it back there. We had a Reese's originally. I'm going to take the Skittles that I found and put that back there. And that's just going to help keep that honey bun to the front to where it forms that window. Okay, and nothing falls out because we're going to add a bunch of other stuff to it. I mean, you can add brownies. I'm just going to throw in all of this other candy that we had in there. Airheads, the lollipop. I'm going to use this one this time. I'm just going to tuck it into the side. And just keep adding all the rest of this candy that is here. You can fit a lot in here. So I had these things stuffed. All right. So we're going to push them down and kind of line up our edges. So again, we're training it where to go before we even glue it down. So line up our edges, and I'm going to create that crease. If I need to go in and kind of push things out, I can do that now because I can see how it will naturally fall. And we're going to just create that crease. I probably have too much stuff in here this time. All right. Now that we've created that crease and kind of trained it where to go, we're going to go in and open up we'll take off our cover for our tape. And again, kind of either roll it towards you or away from you so that it lines up. And there we have it. It's all sealed. And we're going to crimp this one as well. I'm going to go ahead and flip this around. So that you can see what I'm doing. I'm just putting this in here like this. Okay. And then I'm going to turn it to start it off. All right. Now that I have that, I'm going to go. I just want you guys to really see how I was putting it into the crimper because it's a little bit harder from this top angle. And we're going to go down and then undo it. Put the other side in. Start it off. And then I can hold it and turn that one. And there you have it. So we have our one that has the window and the one that just has a plain bag of chips in it without the window. All right, hopefully you guys enjoyed this video and it was helpful. If you have any additional questions, please do not hesitate to leave them as a comment below. I will leave links for where to purchase the ink, where I got the paper from, my glue gun, my glue sticks, and just everything that I mentioned within this video. I will leave links for them in the description box. Again, if you aren't subscribed to this channel, please hit the subscribe button as well as the bell. Thumbs up this video, leave a comment, share it. If you are on Facebook, feel free to visit me in either of my groups, SILAHOLICS Anonymous Silhouette Help. These were designed in Silhouette Studio, so join me over there. Also, check out my YouTube channel, SILAHOLICS Anonymous, for more videos on designing in Silhouette Studio. And for all things events, check me out in the Event Industry Lounge. They are both free groups over on Facebook. All right, guys, until next time, have a great one. Bye.